Dia 154, um brusco despertar. Eu tava em coma. Ah, eu tomei o choque. Aquele dia, chat, eu tomei o choque e eu entrei em coma. Pouco a pouco, o bip compassado do monitor cardíaco traz você de volta à consciência. De olhos abertos, você é saudado por um semicírculo de rostos preocupados. Ao seu lado, sua família, uma visão tranquilizante neste novo ambiente. Você pisca algumas vezes para espantar a sonolência e colocar todos em foco. Olhando melhor, o semblante de Sam é uma mistura de angústia e frustração. Vocês não têm se dado bem ultimamente e Chris também não colabora. Ao ver aquela expressão amarga sobre o ombro de Sam, fica claro que vocês não morrem de amores um pelo outro. Enquanto Sam está claramente preocupada com você, a familiar cara de poucos amigos é óbvia em ambos os rostos. Você estende a mão para Sam. Obrigado por vir, querida. Ou, não acredito que acordei diante da dupla nada dinâmica. Não, eu vou falar obrigado por vir, querida. Menos preocupada, Sam pega sua mão e se inclina para beijar sua testa. Claro que sim, querido. Em que outro lugar eu estaria? Vocês dois sorriem naturalmente um pro outro pela primeira vez em muito tempo. Em seguida, você observa o resto de sua família. Suzy está ao lado de Sam, menos preocupada agora que você está acordado e sorrindo. Você enxerga a preocupação de Sam no rosto da sua filha, mas ela rapidamente fecha o semblante quando percebe que você observa. Que bom que você está bem. É mais um murmúrio que uma fala, mas é um reconhecimento relutante de que, apesar das suas recentes desavenças, ela ainda se importa. Obrigado por vir, você geme tentando ser bem-humorado, ou você só consegue sussurrar um sim, obrigado. Não, vou me esforçar, porra. Bem-humorada, Suzy vira os olhos e não consegue deixar de sorrir pra você. É ótimo tê-la aqui. Charlie o observa enquanto manipula inquietamente a ponta do cobertor. Você inclina a cabeça e olha pra ele com uma sobrancelha de dúvida levantada. Você se vira pra Charlie e o vê tenso, com a preocupação estampada no rosto. Então, você tá bem mesmo, né? Ele finalmente pergunta, desviando rapidamente o olhar. É claro que estou, parceiro, não precisa se preocupar. Ou, eu vou ficar bem, Charlie, deixa o cobertor em paz. Caralho, por que eu posso ser um filho da puta, mano, em todas as respostas? Charlie olha pra você e sorri, um daqueles sorrisos que contagiam o ambiente. É sempre bom tê-lo por perto. Seu sorriso desaparece assim que vê sua mãe, apática, observando a janela. Apesar de seus esforços, ela não anda bem ultimamente. Tá tudo bem, mãe? Seu chamado retira sua mãe daquele estado de devaneio. Ela se vira pra você e sorri. Você agradece por ver aquele reconhecimento cada vez mais raro nos olhos dela. Claro que sim, meu bem. Como você se sente? Você sorri calorosamente e acena com a cabeça, mas antes que possa responder, uma médica entra apressada e conduz todos pra fora. Pelo que parece ser a 100ª vez, ela pergunta como você se sente. Surpreendentemente bem, apesar de tudo. Excelente. Não há sinais de dano sério, somente um pequeno choque no antigo sistema. Com o perdão do trocadilho, ela sorri. Porém, não recomendamos que você faça algo daquele tipo de novo, é claro. Depois de alguns dias de descanso em casa, você estará novo em folha. Ela se vira para sair, mas para na porta. Ah, sobre o quarto particular e o tratamento? A médica aponta para suas acomodações. Agora você vê que são bastante caras. Foi tudo pago por um Sr. Busman. Ele deixou aquelas flores e disse para você não se preocupar e tirar o resto da semana de folga. Ele o verá na segunda-feira, aparentemente. É o mínimo que ele poderia fazer. Sr. Busman é o SUS, mano? Um fardo para carregar, dia 180. Você chega em casa tarde e encontra a luz da cozinha ainda acesa, o que não costuma ser um bom sinal. Geralmente todos estão na cama a essa hora. Você abre lentamente a porta da cozinha e encontra Sam sentada à mesa. Diante dela, uma bagunça de contas e papéis, bem como o que parece ser um segundo pacote de biscoitos aberto. Ela te dá um beijo rápido enquanto você se senta ao lado dela. Sam franze a testa e volta a atenção para os papéis em suas mãos. Oi, querido, só estou conferindo as contas de novo. Ela olha para a porta da despensa, agora convertida no quarto da sua mãe. Nós fizemos o melhor que pudemos, mas acho que Cassandra realmente precisa de uma enfermeira para cuidar dela agora. De repente, você só consegue ver os boletos. Felizmente, com o dinheiro que está entrando e o que conseguimos economizar, temos o bastante para vivermos. Sam sorri. Eu sei que a situação já anda complicada e que os cuidados diários não serão baratos, mas ela é sua mãe. Nós temos que fazer isso, concorda? Você dá um sorriso agradecido. É claro que você vai pagar pelos cuidados que sua mãe precisa. Ou já faz um tempo que sua mãe não é mais a mesma. Será que é hora de considerar outra opção? Que isso, mano? É óbvio que eu vou pagar pelo tratamento da minha mãe? Você é louco? A espada de Damocles é embanhada. Ao menos por enquanto. Você pega os papéis e os enfia em uma gaveta. É um alívio não ter que se preocupar mais com isso. Foi o que você disse a Sam, pelo menos. Horas depois, você ainda está acordado. Encarando o teto. Pensando... Por quanto tempo o dinheiro vai durar? Mano, esse jogo é o 8 ou 80. Eu tava começando a enriquecer. Agora, eu tô com um pouco de ostentação. Não, mas tá tudo bem. Tô pagando a enfermeira da minha mames. Tá tudo bem, chat. Tá tudo bem. Não ter dado o passaporte pra aquele filho da puta me rendeu muito dinheiro. A primeira escolha do jogo é a mais importante, mano. É isto. Eu podia estar pobre e miserável, mas não estou. Dia 232, o silêncio. Ih, o que aconteceu aqui? Essa interface mudou, ela não era assim, né? Não era assim. Era? Tá diferente, parece, não parece que tá diferente? Não sei por que eu tô com a sensação de que tá diferente. Será que é a luz? Ah, tá chamuscado. É isso, tá chamuscado. Eu não consigo clicar em nada. Vou colocar o Neo maluco. Conferir energia. Porra. Tá explicado, chat. Neo maluco. Peraí, como assim?
Stop being so high-mighty and do your job.
You'll have me fired too.
Don't tempt me. Good evening. I'm Megan Wolfe.
And I'm Jeremy Johnson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on countries.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the supply of oil and gas, food, clothing, and even some medicines.
O que tá acontecendo?
We asked the public.
What are your reaction to the sanctions?
I think it's fucking outrageous. My mom needs insulin. Am I supposed to get her transitioned? What's the government doing about it? Eh? What's the government doing about it?
Thanks, Patrick. Important stuff. Thanks, Patrick.
Controversial Prime Minister
Não dá pra colocar um terceiro comercial, chat.
growing public concerns with the following official statement released earlier today.
The international sanctions declared against this country today by the World Council remind us that now, more than ever, we need to
Não tem mais horário aqui, quando começa, quando termina, quando passa.
coming to power, we have eradicated poverty and, as a consequence, seen crime fall to levels previously thought impossible. Our schools, hospitals and youth clubs are thriving, and our transition centres have enabled many thousands to unburden their loved ones with dignity. In any sane world, we would be held up as a model to emulate. Evidently, this is not that world. The privileged few have lobbied, and now they are striking back. But we will not cower before their tantrums. And we encourage other progressive nations of the world to continue to trade, visit, and share their cultures with ours. Do not be afraid.
Nossa,
We have more
foi
friends
difícil,
than we
hein?
can count. We are a team. Now more than ever.
As coisas estão bem estranhas. Nossa, ela tá desesperada, hein? A vice-presidente. Acho que ela é a vice.
Reassuring stuff. But what do you, the public, think of our refreshingly different government? Robin Short found out. Robin Short found out.
Hi there. Robin Short, National Nightly News. I was wondering if I could get your thoughts on the current government.
I'm not really very interested in
Olha o
politics, really.
centrão.
As Mother always said, leave politics to the politicians, Malcolm.
A flowered day's night. Following the release of the Floodmaster 5000, production of Floods are at an all-time high, requiring the new manufacturing facility in Grizzleford to move to 24-hour-a-day production.
With people finding more and more uses for the ever-versatile Flard, the team at Remington Cyst certainly have their hands full keeping up with demand.
So, is there anything better than a handful of Floods? We asked Patrick to find out. Patrick?
What's your opinion of Flards?
I'd get them banned, mate. Floods killed 3 members of my family and more than 1 pet. We should have stuck with Werbs. It was safer then.
Pipers at the gates of dawn. Commuters in the capital
Foda-se,
this
tô
morning
fazendo
found
todo o povo
themselves
ficar puto.
surprised and amused by the latest stunt from popular pressure group Disrupt.
Silent protests were held outside underground stations throughout the capital, bringing a pleasantly surreal quality to the morning commute.
Unless, like me, you have a phobia of mimes.
But how do we, as a country, really feel about Disrupt? Robin?
Can I ask your opinions on Disrupt? Are those the guys in black with the orange fist thing? That's right. Can I be honest? Of course. This is journalism. They scare me a bit.
Feast or famine. Resourceful doctors David Wong and Ingrid Sforsborg and Horgansford today announced their first successful harvest in Dante's taint. Although they can currently only
Vou ficar
grow a
feliz
few
com o buraco
fungal
do
strains,
Dante.
the scientists seem to be staying positive, as the following picture shows.
The undauntable scientists chose to try and survive in the cave system while the complex rescue operation inches forward up here on dry land.
Let's hope they're like Stroganoff.
But with Advance planning to spend an eye-watering amount of public money on the rescue craft, we asked Patrick Bannon to find out what we should all be thinking about the accelerating costs.
Não, peraí. A gente tá falando dos custos altos. Eu mudei minha opinião.
Yeah, don't worry, they're going to cut all this, aren't they? It's disgusting. Christ. Oh, Jesus, wept. Have you thought about quitting smoking?
Right. No, I'm fine now.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
The trapped scientists.
Oh, yeah, right.
The trapped scientists. Brilliant.
I am not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team membership cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as legal identification by all major
Eu não sei o que eu tô fazendo.
police, banks, and vitally, pubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Bom demais pra ser verdade.
Absolutely bloody not. That's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable with the backs appear, can stick their truncheon up your derry out. They should call them what they are. They're bloody ID cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy, Algernon. I'm so sorry.
Crikey.
Eita.
And finally tonight, game of two halves. Fresh out of rehab, repentant celebrity sportsman Johnny Handsleeves is promising to turn over a new leaf.
In a surprisingly energetic appearance on the Whitney Chinwag show this morning, Johnny showed everyone he's certainly full of life and raring to go.
You better not try that on our sofas. I doubt they'll survive the frenzy.
But what should we think of this exuberant behaviour? Patrick?
Oh my God, fantastic!
Your thoughts there?
Later tonight, in a break from our usual responsibilities, Jeremy will be taking popular rapper Jesus to task over his street credibility. And then we'll both be meeting the team behind the new play that's got theatre critics buzzing with anticipation.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
Tá muito rápida a mudança agora da interferência. Estão, tipo, tentando muito interferir no programa, chat. Eu não sei porquê, mas tá muito forte. Tá muito forte. Tá, tipo, muito difícil agora.
First tonight, let's return to our main story.
With the shine coming off Advance's popularity
And the honeymoon period pretty much over,
the national nightly news has spared no expense in bringing you the response to today's sanctions from across the continent.
joining us to help digest this shocking development are Prime Minister Peter Clement from his home in Lanfordshire.
Good evening, Jeremy.
And from Urkistan, Foreign Minister Ivan Vodovich.
It's a great pleasure. Miss Wolf, you like...
And from Svenland, Minister of Mojo, Björn.
Hey, everybody.
Minister Vodovich, your country pushed especially hard for these sanctions. Any regrets?
My only regret is I was not able to see the face of my old friend Peter Clements when the results of the vote were announced. As you say, he has one up in your bottoms.
In Svenland, we try not to gloat, actually, because it's seen as really ugly and dangerous to some small creatures, yeah?
Oh, don't worry, Minister. Ivan and I go way back. He's a wind-up merchant who can't put for shite. He's just trying to get a rise out of me.
You're like a man who load dissidents onto train to labor camp, not because of love of country, but to make up for size of his tiny penis.
Been on the vodka, Ivan.
No more than you. I see you on election night with mouth like man thinks he's singing beautiful lullaby. But actually he's squealing like a pig in hands of Randy Big Dick Palmer, eh?
Actually, we Svenlandians, we aren't size obsessed. We value passion, yeah? Like the way we spoke up for Mr. Clements' country at the World Council.
That's all well and good. And high and mighty, but where were you for the actual vote, then? Off fingering each other's fjords?
Actually, that's kind of racist. And if you must know, I've had like a really tiring afternoon and my tongue is really sore.
Prime Minister, with Advance's popularity on the wane...
You don't have to bring that up at every given opportunity, you know.
Peter, he's like man who think he's sniffing flowers in beautiful glade. But he's actually
trabalhando bem,
standing on
chat.
the outflow pipe from shit factory at shit flushing time on day of village festival of shit. I tell him this at 19th hole.
Minister Vodovich believes that left to their own devices, people will behave selfishly.
Tô mandando bem.
It's nature of all beasts.
However, in this country, we think our citizens are capable of being more than beasts.
Pathetic idealism.
Minister Björk, Svenland has long had radically different traditions and culture from the rest of the world, and yet it peacefully coexists. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, I think maybe the world sees us as something they can actually spiritually be enlightened to, yeah?
Yeah, or maybe it's the orgy houses.
Sometimes, when foreign dignitaries come to visit us, they're actually quite skeptical, actually. So we take them on a visit to the Donga district and show them what like a progressive, enlightened society looks like, yeah?
Shit of bull. Svenland is like woman who thinks she makes best cake in village hot baking contest. And then when she slices it open, it's just full of piss and cum.
That's just really gross, actually.
Svenland is a teeny tiny country. With population smaller than number of people, Peter Clements is sexed with his teeny tiny penis.
It's not all about size, actually.
Yes, that's what Peter Clements always claimed.
I'm talking about population size.
And I'm talking about Peter Clements' teeny tiny...
Oh, fuck off, Ivan!
Oh, Prime Minister, please.
Well, it's so easy to sit on your pile of money and gloat, isn't it, pal? You're a shite leader. A fucking god-awful golfer. And quite frankly, as my old man used to say, you're a bit of a cunt.
Prime Minister, please.
It's you who is cunt.
Minister Vodovich, please.
Your people are fucking starving, pal.
We will see how well fed your people are when the sanctions start to bite. You think you're man like big, scary wolf person terrorizing village, when actually a pathetic goose person searching puddle for tiny dropped-off penis.
Why are you so obsessed about small cocks, mate?
In Svenland, we believe like the size of your penis isn't as important as the love it contains, yeah?
Oh, fuck off, yeah.
Okay, if everybody could just calm down.
You're so smug on golf course. They're like man who fuck pig and somehow give her birth to beautiful lady girl. But now you start to see, yes? The people never happy. It's never enough.
It's certainly true that Advance's popularity
It's on the fucking wane. Yeah, let's go with this bollocks again. Shall we? Actually, you know what? Nah, fuck this. I'm done with this.
Prime Minister, please don't storm out.
No. I have had enough of you, Mr. Jeremy Donaldson, and your snide aside. You think you could make a better job of things, do ya? Because it's not that fucking easy, let me tell ya. Your channel is a fucking disgrace. You insinuate and edit against us and pick your headlines so people don't trust us. The sooner you roaring monsters are taken into public ownership, the happier everyone in this country will be.
Well, we've not got long until the adverts, so...
I'm sorry for the outburst, Miss Wolf. Julia thinks very highly of you, and I know you're not the one making the editorial decisions.
Do any of you have anything you wish to add about the sanctions?
My work here is done. I like man who happy he lie down with fatty, drunk, easy girl from Village Inn, who discover in morning he wake up next to beautiful news reporter lady.
You know, I think it would be a terrible shame, yeah, if the people of your country were to suffer because of teenage grudges and personal rivalries, yeah.
Thank you. Prime Minister?
This country, this wonderful, civilized, creative, inventive country, we're not scared of these sanctions. There's no wolves at our door, only the best of people striving.
Boa noite, quem tá indo dormir, viu?
So,
Beijo.
We're not afraid. In fact, I doubt we'll lose a wink of sleep because we're strong and we're well resourced and we don't back down to bullies.
And on that note, we have to wrap up.
Ministers, Prime Minister, thank you for joining us.
We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
Peter, it's so easy. So many buttons to push.
Piss off.
Well, I see what brings you.
No, I've got meetings. Some tossers impose sanctions on the country.
Well, shit.
Boa noite quem tá indo dormir, pra quem tem aula amanhã, boa aula, pra quem... É isso.
Same as regular censoring. Keep an eye out for the advanced blue waveform.
Tá. Quando aparecer azul, eu preciso censurar, porque é a censura que o governo vai me mandar fazer. Não vou fazer nenhuma censura do governo. Se bem que eu vou ser demitida se eu não fizer, né? Eu vou ver. Se a audiência cair, eu tenho que fazer. Bem que o governo vai me caçar se eu não censurar, mano. Mano, o governo vai me caçar se eu não censurar, velho.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honor and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus!
Hi, thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died, like, died tragically. Right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics, Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just it's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't start.
O cara nem pede pro mano falar da vida, ele só começa a falar, tipo, foda-se.
Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so...
Eu não censurei as partes azul.
Well, you know,
Eu não censurei as partes azul.
Spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually,
Não censurei as partes azul.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Eu tinha que trocar de câmera.
Yeah, nah, of course, man, very much so. I just mean like, why do I have to
Tinha
pay
esquecido
for
de
it,
trocar de câmera.
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah, I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheese-Slice.
What is it you're trying to say?
Cara, o cara é podre de
I
rico.
just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
Or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh, no, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah. You love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Agora eu escolho censurar ou não, eu acho, hein?
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel the elation from your participation. Still 2 leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams.
Eu não censurei as partes do governo.
So don't make a fuss when you find you're one of us. Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive. But why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention. I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise of the crest of the wave. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clement's motherfucking head. Cause he's
Putz, eu censurei pouco agora.
It's time to stone a castle with a motherfucking pitchfork.
Eu tô imparcial, mano. Eu tô censurando um pouco só pra não ser completamente demitida, tá ligado? Pra eu falar, putz, eu censurei, gente.
The ones who now finding that their bank accounts are empty. The ones of aspiration who had to flee a nation. The ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal.
É pra tirarem só metade do meu salário, não inteiro. É verdade, eles vão descontar do meu salário. Eu me fudi. Foda-se, tô censurando. Tô censurando. Eu tô censurando só um pouquinho. Eu não censurei todo o final, foda-se. Assim, eu censurei um pouquinho. Oh, eu gostei, ele mandou mó bem.
Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I might not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your notes.
Que isso?
Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Porra!
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ads.
Jenny, this is fucking outrageous!
Thank you so much. If you could just come with me.
No, this is ridiculous. Who do I complain to?
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask you to
trust
leave
me.
it.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand.
Tadinho do Jeremy, mano.
This is unbelievable, Megan.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Eu quero dar um abraço no Jeremy, mano. Tá, já a gente vai começar. Entendi. Tá.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, shut up, stop it.
Look at him.
If we could just get you in position.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
Megan, Jeremy, you remember Mr. Algebra.
Vividly.
And Mr. Harris, and this is Ms. Wade.
What?
Philippa, please.
You're back together again, eh? Who'd have thought it?
Perhaps a lower order demon.
Yes, it is awfully
Tá,
exciting.
chat, eu tô em posição.
Okay, then.
Meu Deus, o que tá acontecendo na propaganda? Meu Deus, que propaganda é essa? Tá, foda-se. Eu tenho mais o que fazer, mano. Eu tenho que trabalhar.
5, 4,
3, 2, I know, you see.
Welcome back. And no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Rayton, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, yeah, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference?
Oi, Tiny Build!
What did you say?
Esse jogo é da Tiny, chat, sabia?
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of
A Tiny já tá aqui faz mó tempo, né? Mas é que eu dei oi agora, aproveitei que deu uma acalmada no clima aqui, que tá difícil antes.
I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris. Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life, as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the house!
Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show, then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show?
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm down the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable. He was our rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports.
Nossa, eu tô trabalhando bastante nesse aqui, hein?
Fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
Nesse aqui eu tô trabalhando bastante, mano.
You'll never take the sacred path!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, was actually
Troquei sem querer pra aquela tela que não podia trocar, hein?
I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale.
Which, frankly, would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, you do this every
Que
night.
bosta!
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
That's the ads. Let's get reset for tomorrow, please.
Nossa senhora, eu vazei um pouco da tela que não podia vazar, hein? Que perigo. Ixi. Nossa, o Jeremy, ele tá daquele jeito. Transmissão concluída. Ok. Fiz uma nota C. Eu recebi todo o meu pagamento, graças a Deus. Minha riqueza atual. Hora de tirar férias, graças a Deus. Nossa. Chat, é isto. Vamos lá, pagamento, salário. Desgraças de outros países. Eu quero muito ver esse aqui. Nossa, eu nem acredito que eu consegui fazer o negócio funcionar, mano. Eu não estou na miséria de novo.
Your thoughts there. Later tonight, in a break from our usual...
It's wrong makeup, I'd imagine.
Well, we'll need a new calf, otherwise you'll get mildly shiny.
I don't perspire mildly. I have two settings, dry and leaking.
How delightful for you.
It adds to my allure.
No, it doesn't.
It might, you don't know.
What are we talking about? You don't want to know.
My sweat glands, apparently.
Like I said, going in 10 seconds.
Look, about before.
Don't worry, everybody melts sometimes.
You know I would never.
5, 4, 3.
Vocês perguntam o que a gente fica fazendo enquanto tá passando a abertura do RPG, é tendo conversa sobre o nosso sovaco.
First tonight, let's return to our main story.
With the shine coming off advances popularity.
And the...
Pakistan Foreign Minister Ivan Vodovich.
Tá, eles vão discutir pra caralho. Eu quero ver o que eles vão conversar assim que eu trocar de tela, mano.
Yeah, because it's not that fucking easy, let me tell ya. Your channel is a fucking disgrace. This wonderful.
Pera.
Some tossers impose sanctions on the country.
Well, shit.
I mean, wow.
So that happened.
Roaring monsters.
Public ownership.
You two are like a couple who think you are king and queen of village when actually you are just puppets on a string of evil, shitty hand puppet ladies.
Tá, eu esperava mais. O Jesus, vocês querem ver do Jesus? Eu vou colocar do Jesus pra vocês verem, mano. O que o Jesus falou por detrás das câmeras. Vamos ver o que o Jesus falou. Porque o Jesus tava puto, hein?
Are you still meant to bow to foreign royalty?
What?
Should I just, like, curtsy?
Hang on. Have they given you the Crown Prince report?
What?
Meghan?
This is Jeremy, and he'll be interviewing you.
Nossa.
Yo, thanks for having me on your show, man.
It's quite alright.
Yo, just a quick one. You're not going to ask me about the chimp, are you?
Live in 10 seconds.
Because he put that get up on himself. I'm just saying.
Meu Deus.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I'm Megan Wolf.
Tip system? What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay.
Tá, ele vai cantar a música dele.
I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral,
dela.
unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ads.
Jenny, this is fucking outrageous!
Thank you so much. If you could just come with me.
No, this is ridiculous. Who do I complain to?
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask
Oh,
you to
trust
leave
me.
it.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand. This is unbelievable, Megan.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Meu pai vai ficar sabendo disso. Tá bom. Anúncios. Eu quero ver o anúncio do... Esse aqui. Chat, eu vou dar play no anúncio enquanto eu faço xixi, pode ser? Vejam a propaganda aí, tá passando propaganda.
Trivia round! Dad, in non-Euclidean geometry, which type of surface has constant negative Gaussian curvature?
Hyperbolic?
Correct! It's a leap year! Catch the egg! Name that fish! Kick the bucket! Wait, is that? Yes! It's the toy noise! Oh, you know what that means! Put on a shame hat! And that's right, we win your kids. Sorry, they're ours now. Forget those tired old board games. The Sports Board game is the only game your family is going to want to play.
Foda! Dia 242. Uma carreira promissora. É uma preguiçosa tarde de domingo no verão. Você e Sam aproveitam ao máximo a ausência das crianças. Você bate a cabeça ao pegar as duas últimas fatias de bolo do armário. Seria muito mais prático guardar as coisas na despensa. Você e Sam raramente preparam doces nesta casa, por isso cada momento é lentamente saboreado. Assim que dá a última mordida, você ouve o som da porta de entrada batendo. Deve ser o Charlie, voltando do Determinados. Asuna! 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 Tudo bem, eu desisti no meio do caminho. Descer as escadas e depois subir com ela no colo ia ser um trampo. Você o ouve praticamente correndo para encontrá-los. E quando ele chega, ele está sorrindo de orelha a orelha. Tem uma baita novidade para contar. Você e Sam sentam lado a lado atentamente e seguram a respiração. Estão prontos? Charlie pergunta. Vocês confirmam, entusiasmados. Como num movimento de mágica, ele puxa um crachá do bolso e orgulhosamente mostra a vocês enquanto anuncia. A partir de hoje, eu sou membro iniciante dos cadetes de coesão. É bastante trabalho e vou perder alguns finais de semana, mas é muito legal. Sam parabeniza Charlie enquanto você mal consegue disfarçar de desconfiança. Isso deve ser algo importante para os jovens. Você e Sam comemoram pelo filho e você se emociona por ver ele feliz e bem. Nossa, mas ele entrou pro governo, ele tá trabalhando pro governo. Ah, foda-se, se ele tá trabalhando pro governo, ele nunca vai se fuder, né? Afinal, quem trabalha com gente... Quer dizer, na real, você tem que ser rico pra não se fuder. Trabalhar com gente rica não quer dizer nada. Foda-se, ele é funcionário público, tá tudo certo. Nunca vai dar ruim pra ele. Dia 257, uma criança crescida. Você sempre jantou com a família para marcar eventos importantes e essa noite não é exceção. Você até convidou o Chris como um gesto de paz. Ou Sam convidou. E é por isso, aparentemente. Será a última vez que vocês se reunirão por um tempo. Até agora você conseguiu evitar discutir polêmica com Chris ou Suzy. Algo que Sam agradece, sem dúvida. Suzy tem passado bastante tempo com o namorado. Você tem a impressão de que ela nunca para em casa. Quando Suzy e Zack propuseram um grande jantar em família essa noite, você ficou um pouco surpreso, dado o tempo que os dois passam grudados na deles. Zack e Chris sempre se deram muito bem, para o seu desgosto. E é claro que Suzy, aos olhos de sua mãe, nunca seria capaz de fazer algo errado. Por isso, apesar de todos estarem amontoados em volta da mesa da cozinha, o clima é de felicidade. Você dá um gole no drink e curte o momento. Você e Zack nunca concordaram muito em assuntos de política, embora não tenha a mesma inclinação dele para interrupção, você admite que às vezes ele tem bons argumentos sobre o governo. De qualquer forma, o que importa é que Suzy está feliz. Suzy se levanta e bate com uma colher no copo, silenciando o falatório. Queremos fazer um anúncio. Você pega de surpresa e torce por uma notícia boa. Queríamos todos reunidos para contar, mas não pretendo fazer nenhum discurso pomposo. Você torce para que isso não tome o caminho que parece estar tomando. Zack e eu vamos morar juntos, ela anuncia, para a alegria de todos. Bom, por enquanto vamos morar no apartamento do Zack até encontrarmos um cantinho só nosso, tagarela Suzy, claramente animada por contar tudo a vocês. Eu posso falar sério que você vai morar com ele? Ou que notícia ótima, meu bem, fico feliz por vocês. Eu não fico feliz por vocês, fico feliz por mim, que não vou mais ter que pagar a conta dos dois. Suzy sorri pra você enquanto Sam se vira pra ela entusiasmadamente. Conta pra gente os lugares que vocês estão pesquisando. A sala se enche de risos e conversas animadas. É bom ver sua filha feliz. É hora de Suzy e Zack irem embora para o novo lar do casal. O que você e Sam não sabiam é que, enquanto vocês estiveram ausentes durante a tarde, eles fizeram a mudança das coisas da Suzy de surpresa. Entre lágrimas e muitos sorrisos, vocês os assistem partir. Até o Chris se comportou bem nessa noite. Tomara que dê tudo certo. Você fecha a porta enquanto Sam desaparece escada acima. Percebendo que ela não voltou, você a procura e a encontra sentada no chão do quarto vazio de Suzy. Você se senta encostado na parede e coloca seus braços em volta dos ombros dela. Ah, minha esposa tá chorando. Opa, Tiny Build, obrigada, viu, por aparecer aqui 1 da manhã. Não faz o Jeremy sofrer, por favor, pode deixar comigo. O Jeremy é um amorzinho. Todos precisam crescer um dia. Eita, passou uns dias, hein? Dia 278, um sinal do que há por vir. Fazer compras já era uma tarefa enfadonha antes das sanções, mas agora se tornou um verdadeiro martírio. Você conseguiu quase tudo o que precisava para a família essa noite, mas terá que voltar amanhã para se abastecer para a semana. Há uma fila para sair do estacionamento, mas você não entende o motivo por causa da escuridão. Seja o que for, tomara que não demore. Quando o carro à sua frente se afasta, você percebe que, na verdade, a fila é causada por um posto de controle montado na saída. Vestindo um uniforme da Advance com a sigla ACO estampado em várias partes, um homem de aparência amigável se aproxima do seu carro e bate na janela. Você abre. Boa noite. Não há motivo para preocupação, só quero ver seu cartão de inscrição da equipe, por gentileza. Esses cartões não eram opcionais? Desculpe, eu não tenho um. Ah, não tem problema. Temos formulários aqui e iremos inscrevê-lo com o maior prazer. O homem acena para a colega atrás dele, uma jovem usando o mesmo uniforme. Todo o trabalho com a papelada claramente sobrou para ela. Bom, já que você tá aqui, vou me inscrever. Pensei que esses cartões não eram obrigatórios. Vou falar, pensei que os cartões não eram obrigatórios. Ah, bem, na verdade eles não são. Porém, eles só trazem benefícios, não há razão para não ter. O sorriso dele encolhe. Ele leva a mão ao pescoço e coça enquanto se inclina sobre você, agora com uma postura um pouco intimidante. Você me convenceu, pode me inscrever. Ou, não, obrigado, não quero isso agora. E agora? Será que eu colaboro pra poder viver minha vida normalmente? Ou será que eu... Mano, tipo assim, se eu... Sabe, chat, aquele rolê do se eu colaborar eu posso simplesmente viver minha vida normalmente, mano? Eu e a minha família... Mano, eu tenho uma esposa, uma mãe doente e um filho. Foda-se. Ele chama uma colega que se aproxima rapidamente e anota suas informações pessoais e histórico de trabalho, inclusive da sua família. O processo é mais complexo do que você esperava e a quantidade de detalhes exigida também o surpreende. Mesmo assim, tudo acaba alguns minutos depois com a promessa do seu próprio cartão de inscrição da equipe chegando até você em breve. Com isso, você não precisa parar na fila na próxima vez. Maravilha, é só isso, obrigado. Não se esqueça de conferir a nova loteria da equipe que começa em breve. Você pode concorrer a vários benefícios. Boa viagem. O homem é só sorrisos enquanto dá um tapinha no capô do seu carro e acena pra você. Prêmios grátis só por ter o cartão? Fantástico. Agora esses cartões são obrigatórios? Um convite que vale a pena ignorar? Dia 290. É sábado, um dos seus poucos dias de folga, e você aproveitou o máximo que pôde. Eu li um comentário, alguém falou: foda, a Gabi numa ditadura seria vendida, hein? Amiga 1. Eu seria vendida, mas eu não seria torturada. E eu admiro muito as pessoas que lutam pela causa. Toda aquela galera que foi torturada foi a galera que lutou pela causa. Eu não teria bolas pra isso. Daí você para pra pensar junto comigo o quanto você se disponibilizaria a correr o risco de ser trancado num lugar e torturado até quase morrer, ou até morrer mesmo, pela causa, mano. Porque muita gente fez isso. Eu talvez não teria bolas pra fazer. Apesar de estar do lado de quem queria se livrar disso, talvez eu não teria bolas pra fazer. Falar que faria é bem fácil. Eu, se pá, não teria bolas, hein? É sábado, um dos seus poucos dias de folga, e você aproveitou o máximo que pôde. Mas conforme o fim da tarde chega, o convite na porta da geladeira o encara de forma opressora. Festa de gala do Channel One é um evento de trabalho obrigatório, disse Bozeman, sem pestanejar. Inclusive, nem pense em se atrasar. Você já pulou um fim de semana de trabalho, dessa vez não dá, é melhor ir. Ou, mais um recadinho do Bozeman não é nada se você ainda tiver sua noite de sábado. Tô pensando. Ah, chat, lembra aquela vez que ele me ligou pra eu ir pra festa, que eu optei viajar com a minha esposa e faltar o trabalho? Eu acho que agora, tudo bem eu ir pro evento de trabalho. Vamos lá. Eu já pulei um final de semana de trabalho, eu vou. Dessa vez eu vou. É melhor você começar a se preparar. Você pergunta se Sam pode te dar uma carona. Afinal, um drink ou dois podem ajudar com a socialização forçada do trabalho. Você torce pra que não seja tão ruim. Afinal, você é muito bom no que faz, né? Ixi. Uma noite com as notícias do país. Você chega quase na hora do Sauvignon, um dos hotéis mais antigos e grandiosos da capital. Você se surpreende com a fila para entrar, mas logo percebe que os convidados estão sendo revistados na entrada por pessoas muito parecidas com militares, vestindo trajes diferenciados. Enquanto espera, você contempla a opulência do prédio, provavelmente o lugar mais chique que você já esteve na vida. Você é revistado e, alívio, liberado para entrar. Dentro do prédio, você é direcionado para o grande salão de baile. Você fica impressionado com o tamanho do lugar enquanto se orienta pelas placas e com a quantidade de seguranças armados. Assim que você chega ao seu destino, uma mulher de aparência muito severa pede o seu nome na entrada. Eu sou Alex Winston. Ela passa os olhos pela lista e sussurra algo pro garçom ao lado. Você chegou bem a tempo de se sentar antes do jantar. Por favor, siga Emanuel até sua mesa. O garçom sorri pra você, abre uma das grandes portas duplas e te convida pra entrar. Você entende imediatamente por que chamam aquilo de grande salão de baile. Você para por um segundo pra absorver tudo. Você sente um leve toque no braço. É Emanuel pedindo que você o siga. Ele o acomoda em uma mesa distante do centro do salão, meio que debaixo de umas escadas. No máximo, você tem uma visão parcial do palco. Busman com certeza não está feliz com você no momento. Você é colocado junto a alguns colegas que já ouviu pelos corredores do Channel One, que já viu, eu acho, mas não chegou a conhecer. Na melhor das hipóteses, eles são considerados preguiçosos e na pior, prestes a serem demitidos. Ixi, por que eu tô na mesa dos prestes a serem demitidos? Em qual categoria você se encaixa? Conforme a noite passa, você ouve Jeremy Donaldson sendo anunciado como ganhador do prêmio de contribuição excepcional para o jornalismo. Você também assiste Megan Wolf recebendo o prêmio no lugar, já que ele não compareceu ao evento. Não é a primeira vez, ao que parece, mas você não consegue acompanhar tudo com muita clareza, tendo sua visão obstruída pelas escadas. Você também percebe um agente de coesão comunitária circulando perto da sua mesa. Ele parece tão entediado quanto você por estar aqui. Algumas taças de vinho muito caro depois, você vê Busman conversando com algumas mesas, acompanhado pelo que parecem ser os primeiros ministros Julia Salisbury e Peter Clement. Sua impressão é confirmada por um aceno pouco entusiasmado do ACO quando você pergunta, talvez um pouco alto demais. A presença deles suscita um debate na sua mesa sobre as virtudes da Advance e da interrupção. Você defende que a Advance está transformando o país num lugar melhor. Você argumenta a favor da interrupção e seus ideais de liberdade. Você evita falar de política porque provavelmente já bebeu demais. Vou evitar dessa vez. Apesar de tudo, você se deixa levar pela conversa e não vê a hora passando. Quem não está feliz é a Sam por ter que esperá-lo por 20 minutos na rua. Por fim, até que não foi uma noite totalmente horrível, mas você ainda preferia ter ficado em casa. Talvez você recuse uma próxima. Mano, eu tô no covil dos monstros. É melhor não falar mal deles aqui. É isso, Kista, é isso. Dia 296, a onda de calor. Ih. Nossa, tá quente pra porra. Essa antena não tava aqui antes, tava? Eu lembro que ela tava quando eu tava sonhando, mano. Nossa. Fudeu.
I'm sweating like Peter coming in an office here.
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
So, we've got any actual real news tonight?
Well, the world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our
Nossa,
main
tá ficando
headlines
perigoso o
tonight.
chat.
Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team headquarters a short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
Ever since these illegal sanctions were imposed, we have gratefully relied upon trade and aid from our worldwide friends who, like us, refuse to recognize their legitimacy. Today's escalation, however, is nothing short of an act of war. We call upon our international allies to condemn this blockade absolutely, and we warn aggressors to this country that we are neither meek nor defenseless. Thank you.
Match day. Reformed bad boy Johnny Hamsleeves was seen out in public today for the first time since leaving rehab. The rehabilitated former sports star was photographed returning to public life, looking like a new man this morning as he shopped with friends. Ever since his crowd-pleasing appearance on the Whitney Chinmatch show, the rumour mill has been wondering if a new relationship might be on the cards. Sources close to Johnny say a romance with ex-teammate Eric Justin would be no surprise and was common knowledge in the locker room. Though judging by the team's recent form, they may be the only ones scoring this season.
Eu montei casal
in it to win it. Exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take-up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. A bridge too flat. After disappointing sales leave them with a massive flood surplus, Remington's Fist have had to find a use for their overflowing stocks. After the decision to ramp up production was met with public outcry, Sophia Remington has let slip the future for the overflowing flock of failed floods. Hoping to recapture the public's imagination, Remington's Fist have announced a luxury island getaway called Flood Festival, described as an immersive, luxury flood experience on an island.
Tô comandando aqui, chat, tá indo.
Has certainly raised eyebrows, with consumers asking questions like, but what even is it? And did you say an island? The cost of a captain. The trapped scientists awaiting rescue in Dante's Taint have today been told who will be leading the expedition to bring them home. The announcement of the newly appointed captain comes amid reports that a lack of public interest has hindered fundraising efforts. However, Doctors Wong and Forsborg and Horgensford are said to be remaining hopeful despite financial concerns. The team are calling the appointment of Captain Audrey Aerospace a real boon. But how will one of the most experienced and well-respected leaders in their field handle a journey with a budget lower than an accountant's honeymoon? Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. The reckless fire will certainly be remembered by all those who have seen these striking images. As their actions escalate, people across the country are asking themselves, who are Disrupt and what exactly do they want? Other than a new box of matches, of course. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship.
Tá, chat, eu tô meio quieta porque eu tô concentrada,
That's
tá?
up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Eu tô concentrada, por isso que eu tô meio quieta. Pera, o que que tá rolando? Oh, meu Deus. Nossa! É, eu falei que eu tava focada gamer, mas eu me perdi. Tô concentrada, ela disse. E lá vamos nós. De novo.
I'm sweating like Peter Clement in a license here.
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
Muito focada, chat, muito focada. É que eu não vi de onde tava vindo, mano. Eu demorei pra me ligar que era aqui, eu achei que era no... É isso aí.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our
Oi,
main
Jeremy.
headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week. In a statement from team
Nossa, foi
headquarters a
mal.
short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
Ever since these illegal sanctions were imposed, we have gratefully relied upon trade and aid from our worldwide friends who, like us, refuse to recognise their legitimacy. Today's escalation, however, is nothing short of an act of war.
Ah, os dois eram iguais mesmo.
We call upon our international allies to condemn this blockade absolutely, and we warn aggressors to this country that we are neither meek nor defenceless. Thank you.
Match day. Reformed bad boy Johnny Hamsleeves was seen out in public today for the first time since leaving rehab. The rehabilitated former sports star was photographed returning to public life, looking like a new man this morning as he shocked
Tem gente
his friends.
passando no corredor.
Ever since his crowd-pleasing appearance on the
Tamo
Whitney
indo
Chili
bem.
Show, the rumor mill has been wondering if a new relationship might be on the cards. Sources close to Johnny say a romance with ex-teammate Eric Justin would be no surprise and was common knowledge in the locker room.
Mano, quando eu começar a dar pau, eu vou ter que arrumar aqui que a frequência vai coisar e eu vou ter que ligar a energia que vai ter caído.
Nossa,
fodeu.
For all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at
Selecionei uma
random to
pessoa
receive
diferente
what
pra ver o que
teammates
rola.
are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take-up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have
Tá, a
one.
mesma coisa também.
A bridge too flat. After disappointing sales leave them with a massive flood surplus, Remington's Fist have had to find a use for their overflowing stocks. After the decision to ramp up production was met with public outcry, Sophia Remington has let slip the future for the overflowing flock of failed floods. It seems there are now thousands upon thousands of shipping containers full of the formerly fashionable fabrications lying unused and unloved in warehouses around the country.
É bom que isso aqui
An
deixa a
official
população
spokesperson
puta.
refuted this claim, saying many of the crates also contain corporate whistleblowers, endangered species, and long-lost priceless religious artifacts. The cost of a captain. The trapped scientists awaiting rescue in Dante's Taint have today been told who will be leading the expedition to bring them home. The announcement of the newly appointed captain comes amid reports that a lack of
Vou botar o
public
velho
interest
agora.
has hindered fundraising efforts.
Pra testar.
However, Doctors Wong and Sforsborg and Horgensford are said to be
Swan,
remaining
Swan,
hopeful
Swan,
despite
Swan.
financial concerns. The
Boa noite,
decision
quem tá
to
indo
hire
dormir, viu?
infamously cheap but notoriously unreliable Captain Archibald Viator III was widely criticised this morning after he immediately spent 50% of the already tight budget on tequila, recording it on the equipment list as nature's seatbelt. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. As grassroots support for the movement grows rapidly, especially in those areas Advance have not yet been able to fully regenerate, people across the country are starting to fear a return to the bad old days of inequality, division, and multiple television shows about buying houses. All this, and I'll be
Gostei
talking to
mais
some
das
people with
cores que eu fiz.
fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship, and
Vamos
a
ver.
proud owner. That's all up on
É
tonight.
agora que vai começar a dar merda, hein?
News.
Pronto. Deu tudo certo.
But first tonight, our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking.
Tudo indo bem, tudo indo bem.
Dr. Anna Burns of the University of Princeton. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am?
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating.
And you're part of a team carrying out a
Meu
study
Deus.
into just what's causing this unbelievable heat. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's
Tá tendo tanta
absolutely nothing to
interferência,
worry about,
mano.
and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from weather
Ok, não,
stations
acho que tá
from
tudo
all
bem.
over the world,
Eu não sei o
along
que
with
isso aqui
atmospheric
faz.
samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Remington's Fist. This is all thanks to their
Ih, vai cair, hein?
investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary.
Calma.
And, as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on. This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is actually fine, so...
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah?
Meu
we
Deus.
need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Tá ficando meio complicado, hein?
Shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit,
there you go. Much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this?
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running
It's running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
Enjoy that. I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will reclaim us all.
Megan Warfare, attending
Deu
to
tudo
do some
certo.
actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that we had to do was fill in a quick form or two.
Wow, that sounds so convenient. But we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with...
I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter.
Nossa, isso vai me fuder uma hora.
That's absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth swarmers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
Será que eu desligo a fã quando não tiver tudo...
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Eu não tô conseguindo.
Unexpected.
Tudo bem, tudo bem.
Polish turds.
Ai, meu Deus.
I write poetry.
Perigo.
Potato.
So,
Eu tava tentando. Ó, começou a esquentar, eu
The
ligo.
contents of his downpipe.
É isso, eu acho, hein?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was
No,
it in
thank
hopes
you.
of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no.
Acho
the
que é
boss
isso,
said I
hein?
had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear about Gary's turd collection.
Really? I thought you might say that.
Are you all right?
Yes, it's coming. It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Right you are.
Meu Deus.
Today on the show there's no news, just a man
really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance to win?
Vai dar tudo certo, vai dar tudo certo.
Take a gander at all blue idea.
Tá dando tudo certo.
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was
A Gabi tá quase zerando já, nem ideia. Espero que sim.
You, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which has recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's
assim, dentro do possível tá funcionando.
Barry Lard,
só falar.
You've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the sting?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. But who's laughing now, eh?
So what, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built Flard factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
This thing's not affect your life.
Mano.
At first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed. So, what's the sentence? Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms.
Eu não sei se eu deixo o ventilador ligado o tempo todo.
Something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main, but I think it's probably the fume valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a lot of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, you stinking old tramp?
Next according is a period of random...
Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon. He's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous. Why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even like the
Tudo bem, tudo bem. Eu acho que não faz diferença mesmo.
That'll be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon. Feel the Bannon. Oh, man.
And the ennui.
Nossa, tá sofrido, viu?
Now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nana Dottie? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
Vai cair de novo.
Just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him. It won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right. That's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks,
Pronto.
Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
Pronto, pronto, comercial. Dei play no comercial.
I don't care. It's done. I am done. It's 200 fucking degrees in here, and I can't do this anymore.
You say this every Friday.
Nossa, hoje foi difícil, hein?
What do you mean? Jeremy?
My mic is still...
Deu tudo certo.
Next guest has some unsuitable opinions for the evening news. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for subversive talk. It would be nice if you could try not to undermine the station tonight. People are starting to notice, you know.
Não entendi, não.
cat football? We should be doing an interview with the War Minister, or a report from Grentham Downs. Even the weather would be more fucking relevant than this.
Jeremy, please, just breathe. It's just something light to keep people's minds off things.
Exactly, which is wrong. People's minds should be very much on things. Christ, it's so fucking hot.
Please take your seats as quickly as you can.
I can't do this anymore, Jenny. I've had enough. That's it. This is just
10 seconds. Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to
Tadinho, Jeremy.
With me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. See, I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election, and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting.
Que isso?
I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Meu Deus!
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me, and I was hoping it would fade.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
Meu Deus, eu não vou conseguir censurar. Eu não consegui censurar.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
I think you're a teen fuck puppet.
No.
Or a sellout cunt.
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Jeremy.
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No, I didn't say.
Wow, we may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin. A ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once.
Enough! That's enough!
Vai, Jeremy!
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex,
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. Now, you in the broadcast centre, Bozeman's little scapegoat, you listen to me. You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio. I am thinking about what I'm doing.
Ele tá falando
I've been thinking
comigo.
about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. to do the real news before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat football. We are on the brink of a siege, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the
A audiência tá torando.
Talking to these three fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
Ele assustou o suficiente pro soluço acabar.
Out of my studio. Go on, now, go, before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Good.
Nossa, o Jeremy virou o Coronga, mano.
Alex,
ele tá falando comigo. Eu sou o Alex.
Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines. And when I say so, and not before, you play it. You've got about 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now, all cameras.
Alex, I know I've doubted your competence, but surely even you know better than to play that tape. We don't take orders from armed lunatics.
Foda-se, eu vou dar play.
Oh, but now, we're going to show the other side for it. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape. I don't want to hurt any of you.
Eu dei play na fita que ele me deu. Foda-se.
I will not hesitate to start.
Oh, Alex, you're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope we
Reset
make
the
the
system
right
for the
call.
third segment. I imagine the ratings are going to be through the roof.
Já ouviu falar de nós nos noticiários? Somos a interrupção. Somos a resistência. Chegou a hora de vocês saberem a verdade. Vocês sabem que a Advance está mentindo. Os idosos não são o fardo. Vocês sabem que nem todos os ricos são malignos. E vocês sabem que o cartão de inscrição da equipe é um cartão de identificação. Não importa o que eles têm a dizer. Mas por que você deve acreditar em nós? Outra organização sem rosto. Uma figura sombria com voz distorcida. Vocês já viram muitas vezes nos filmes. Bom, isso não é um filme. Quem é? Ah, não, o Alan, meu! Eu tentava chocar as pessoas para viver. Por entretenimento. Mas agora nós vivemos uma época que talvez vocês precisem de algo chocante. Vocês precisem acordar. A Advance está vindo tomar nossa liberdade. Para a eutanásia nossos pais e sempre com um sorriso. Para nossos filhos se voltarem contra nós caso expressemos nossas preocupações.
How long?
Jeremy, please.
How long?
17 seconds.
And the studio doors are all still locked?
Yes.
Nossa, o Alan James é foda.
So what now?
I don't know. This wasn't what I planned. I mean, some of it was. I had a speech, look. But this was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long? How long, Jenny?
You're already live.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, for what I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is... What's your name?
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. It's not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
I don't want to be in the news, Jeremy.
That's perfectly understandable. We'd want to do this. Jenny, why did you join the National Nightly News team?
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this programme? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was?
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
There's a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
What do you mean?
I saw your face when that hood came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
Like I said, you didn't know.
No, I didn't know. The people I met were with, he wasn't there. I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry, but seriously, Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for... God, I love you, Jeremy, but...
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
That right?
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into oppression, and the news isn't saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Says who? Alan fucking James.
What are all those scientists working on at Grantham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these? Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you. You eat these cards of my notes,
Nem tá mais quente.
and you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help,
Yes,
Andy?
yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch that.
Of course. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy. You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there. And then he done.
Não, eles vão matar o Jeremy. Eles vão matar o Jeremy.
This new regime of ours is so seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone ask Advance how they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves.
Vão vir me matar, chat.
That's why I arranged for you all to see that broadcast from the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ, it's also fucking pointless. I was going to quit tonight. Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never try. I loved them. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry. I've lost this fight.
Alex, think of the consequences.
I've let you down.
Please, we can't show this. Cut to the ads.
My name's Jamie
Now!
Donaldson.
Do it now!
If you can. Somehow. And I envy you if you can. Have a peaceful night.
Jeremy!
Passei propaganda. Passei propaganda no finalzinho. Meu maluco! Nossa, fiz um a mais. Você recebeu todo o seu pagamento. Pera, por que eu tô pobre e miserável? Ah, eu tô bem de vida. Eu tô bem de vida. Ah, é porque as ações da minha empresa subiram. Não, tô bem de vida, tô bem de vida. As pessoas queriam ver a fofoca inteira, mano. Eu nem quero ver nada, eu só quero... continuar, por favor. (297), uma fita memorável. Você acorda, ainda um pouco chocado com o que viu no noticiário da noite passada. Com o que você teve que editar no noticiário da noite passada. Você desce as escadas e encontra sua família sentada na sala de estar, todos esperando por você. Você senta no sofá entre Sam e Suzy. Sam engole seco e hesita antes de falar. Estávamos tão preocupados com você ontem à noite, depois que o Jeremy, com a arma... Sam soluça. Foi horrível. Em cadeia nacional. Como ele pôde fazer isso? E agora? Depois de uma longa pausa, Sam enfim pergunta. Você está bem, querido? Eu posso falar sim, eu vou ficar bem. Ou não acredito que ele se foi. Não acredito que ele se foi. Sam olha para as crianças e depois para você. Vimos que você decidiu reproduzir aquela fita. Ela faz uma pausa antes de prosseguir. Eu não consigo parar de pensar por quê. Eu não senti que tinha uma escolha ou parecia a coisa certa a ser feita. Eu vou falar que parecia a coisa certa a ser feita. O quê? Isso não é suficiente. Na interrupção só tem gente ruim. Não acredito que você fez isso. Charlie explode do nada, pegando todos na sala desprevenidos. Você ao menos pensa como esse tipo de coisa afeta as pessoas? Você é um idiota do caralho. A Sam tenta apaziguar. Charlie. Mas ele já bateu a porta. Vocês lembram que eu deixei meu filho entrar nessa merda, mano? Charlie sempre foi inflexível com esse tipo de coisa. Se serve de consolo, Alex, acho que você fez o possível para resolver um dilema e uma situação incomum. Sam o abraça. Você era o único enfurnado naquele estúdio. Com uma escolha nas mãos. Ninguém tem o direito de criticá-lo. Estou orgulhosa de você. Pelo menos a Sam, gente! Você nunca foi tão grato por ter Sam ao seu lado. Você respira fundo e organiza seus pensamentos. É informação demais para absorver. Se você sequer processou totalmente o acontecimento da noite passada, quem dirá a opinião de Charlie e Sam sobre tudo isso? Você olha para sua filha. Eu sei que essa é uma situação absolutamente complicada e que nem sempre concordamos um com o outro, mas acredito que você fez a escolha certa. Suzy sorri para você. Graças a Deus! Você tinha que reproduzi-la, não havia outra opção. Você envolve com um abraço e dá um aperto afetuoso. Você se sente bem por ter ao menos alguma companhia. Na TV está passando uma antiga série de faroeste, mas você não se distrai tanto quanto esperava. Era impossível agradar todo mundo. E dia 324. Uma escolha controversa? Você saiu mais cedo do trabalho hoje. Um acontecimento raro bastante para apressá-lo. Você fecha a porta da entrada e ouve uma conversa animada vindo da cozinha. Alguém deve ter aparecido para tomar uma xícara de chá na cesta de folga da Sam. Tomara que tenha sobrado algumas bolachas. Você entra e vê Sam, Suzy e Zack rindo e conversando. Assim que o vê, sua filha se vira entusiasmada, e mostra a mão ostentando um exuberante anel de diamante. Olha, o Zack me pediu em noivado. Eu vou falar, caramba, que notícia maravilhosa. Os dois acabam ficando para o jantar. Eles foram morar juntos bem rápido, coisas do amor. Você está genuinamente feliz por eles, aconteça o que acontecer. Mano, é importante eu apoiar ela porque ela já tá noiva, entendeu? Eu criticar agora não adianta mais. Se ela tiver problema, eu vou abraçar ela e falar, vem filha, volta pra casa, tá ligado? Então é isso, você sempre apoiará em tudo. É isso que importa, mano. Ela já noivou já, não vai, nada vai desfazer isso. Então o negócio é abraçar ela e se algo der ruim, eu tô aqui porque eu sou o papai dela. Um fardo suportado. Já faz 6 meses que você e Sam discutiram os crescentes custos médicos da vovó pela última vez. Emma, embora muito competente, é uma profissional custosa, como você temia. Você não consegue acreditar que já faz tanto tempo, mas as sanções estão realmente começando a ter efeito agora. Infelizmente, a única solução do governo para ajudar os idosos e enfermos é uma viagem para um centro de transição. Porque tudo sempre parece girar em torno do dinheiro. Dessa vez, é você na mesa de cozinha, cercado por contas e papéis, enquanto Sam vem fazer companhia. Hoje, a Emma disse que não havia nada mais que você pudesse fazer, exceto um novo tratamento experimental e caro, que pode acabar não dando resultado. Às vezes, sua mãe quer o tratamento. Com mais frequência, ela fala sobre visitar um centro de transição. É difícil saber o que ela realmente quer. Sam aperta sua mão. O que faremos, querido? Ela é sua mãe. A escolha é sua. Acho que ela não quer mais viver assim. É difícil, mas chegou a hora do centro de transição. Ou, ela é minha mãe. Temos que fazer tudo o que pudermos. Vamos arranjar o tratamento. Ela é minha mãe, porra. Não vou soltar a mão. Tá louco? É uma escolha difícil. Nunca se sabe quando você pode precisar desse dinheiro. Principalmente para as crianças. E se Charlie sofrer um acidente? E se a nova casa de Zack e Suzy inundar e eles precisarem de ajuda? E se você pudesse dar a eles uns bons anos com a avó? Isso com certeza vale o custo. De bem de vida, eu fui para... Dias sem dor de cabeça. Tô bem ainda. Tá tudo bem ainda, mano. Oxi. Dia 371. Tá tudo bem ainda. A 20ª semana de...
Alex, Bozeman, your boss. We're expecting deplorables from Disrupt to hack the signal tonight. Perhaps you could leave your personal beliefs at home and try not to let them ruin the broadcast. Even if you don't care for the government, I assume you understand you have a vested interest in us staying on the air. Stay out of the orange.
Evite chegar ao laranja. Não mesmo.
So, Julia's team have asked me to ask you to keep it light. What does that mean? It means to do that thing you do where you turn politicians into humans. Just don't get drawn into talking about the war or politics in general. Really. They do know this is the news, don't they? You didn't hear this from me, but... Oh. Apparently, there's a crew at Team HQ right now. I think she's giving a speech or something tonight. They'll get it on the late news. Oh, great. So they get the brains and we get the performing monkey. Sometimes you sound just like him, you know. How are you? It is what it is.
Mano, eu vou sentir muita falta do Jeremy. Sério.
I miss him too, you know.
10 seconds, everybody.
É isso. Isso aqui não tinha antes.
5, 4, 3.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight. Company of heroes. Skirmishes on land and sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come. Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise. Don't starve. Advance's food programme moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with the reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. With dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain, it can come as no surprise that the transition centres have found themselves stretched to capacity. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a team membership card, a worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. While applications are still open for those who like to run fashionably late, they can expect a few tricky questions from advance. Start me up. Disrupt spokesman Alan James held an impromptu rally today in the northern city of Mankipool. Large crowds gathered to hear the band speaker prove Disrupt are still able to capture the public's imagination. Community cohesion officers found themselves challenged by the unruly mob element always present at Disrupt events,
Tô
but
botando moral
thankfully
na
managed to keep
interrupção, hein?
violent incidents to a minimum. And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical Disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. A passionate and rebellious man, always willing to question authority, Jeremy was posthumously celebrated with a Team Service Award by Advance for his outstanding dedication to journalistic truth.
Pera.
But first this evening, with
Nossa,
the
eu
war
botei um
about to
negócio
enter its
errado. Eu achei
21st
que eles iam
punishing
criticar o bagulho da Advance que eu coloquei. Porra! O jogo deixa tudo meio jogado assim, tá ligado?
That's coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Meu Deus, o que tá acontecendo? É, rapaziada que tá chegando, vi que rolou um gank. Eu tô meio... Oh, meu Deus, eu queria muito deixar... Eu acho que quem tá tentando entrar é da rapaziada lá, mas... Ai, meu Deus do céu, eu não sei o que eu faço,
In part 2, I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later
Eu tô
we've got a
focada,
new
gente,
feature
que
that's
chegou do
sure to
gank. Eu tô
keep you
muito
coming back
focada,
for more.
então é
But
só
first
isso
tonight,
mesmo. Mas
let's
olá,
check in with Prime
sejam
Minister Peter
bem-vindos
Clement,
e
who's speaking to us from his home in Lancaster.
fiquem à vontade, por favor.
Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Have we started? Yes, that's right, Miss Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old mum used to say, just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister. Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle? What's wrong? Oh, shitter. It's shitter, isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this new you?
Well, you know, Mrs. C and I were watching, you know, the night the blockade began, when Jeremy Donaldson...
Eu tô deixando passar o... Eu tô passando a mensagem da resistência, eu tô passando a mensagem da resistência, foda-se. Da interrupção. Eu tô passando a mensagem da interrupção, chat.
And Mrs. C turns to me after, you know, after the signal dropped away.
Tô tentando. Aí, consegui. Nossa, foi muito difícil. Foi mal. Tá muito difícil acompanhar o sinal dos caras, mano.
As well as that, I can't as useless running backwards doesn't go anywhere. And apparently I'm going on a walking holiday this Christmas, and that should finish me off for bloody good.
Did you make the decision to holiday within the country this winter because of the blockade, Prime Minister?
Well, Mrs. C has never liked travelling at the best of times. These are certainly not the best of times. Well, that we can all agree. There's a lot of red tape involved in leaving the territory at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware. Those fathers are bastard long. What? All in it together. Oh, yeah. Also, it doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really
Deu
an
tudo
example of
certo.
team spirit? Is that really an example of team
What?
Deu tudo certo.
Did you know about this, Gail?
No one tells me anything, Peter. You should know that.
What did you know?
Well, leaving that for a moment, it says on this card that a body like yours must take some planning to achieve. What's your morning routine?
Well, I have a frigid morning routine.
Rigid. It's rigid for fuck's sake!
Oh, yeah. A rigid and demanding plan that my doctor and personal trainer...
Who's your personal trainer?
Ah, some prick called Clark. Is that on your card?
I thought you might wonder. Prime Minister, speaking of planning, with the blockade in its 20th week and the people of this country reeling from its effects, what plans do you have to get us out of this mess?
Nossa, é difícil de acompanhar esse sinal, hein? Vocês não estão entendendo.
For which you, the democratically elected Prime Minister, must have an answer.
Porra, se vocês querem que eu passe o sinalzinho de vocês, pelo menos faz um sinalzinho mais fácil de acompanhar, por favor.
You want to talk about plans? Let me tell you about plans. That's all we do. Fucking plans and revise plans and then meetings to discuss the implementation of plans and plans to get more planning for fucking
Chat, eu acho que eu vou morrer. Ou eu vou perder meu emprego.
That's good. That's good to know, Prime Minister.
I just really like
Ou eu morro ou eu perco meu emprego.
But I've been watching you, and you know what? You get more like him every day.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes. Well, I imagine that there
Sorry,
will be
you imagine?
the usual... No, what I mean is...
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old man used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards, what else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through? Get out, refill my last. Ah, come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no fucking idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for...
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, that does make more sense, actually.
How's rationing affecting you?
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn
30
to get
segundos
by
pro
on the
comercial.
basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt. I want for nothing.
20 segundos pro comercial.
Sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us.
10.
When we come back, it's time for the Culture Spot with Lil C and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that.
3,
We'll be
2,
back after
1.
this.
We'll be back. 1 minute back, everybody. That is what happens when you wander from the car.
I don't think you knew about her statement.
I don't think anyone's supposed to know. When you mentioned it, Bozeman's face turned a colour that I think you call embolism.
Am I in trouble?
Bozeman? Nah, you're like the daughter you never had. Oh, that's not by him, though.
Who's Lil C?
Well, if there's any justice, no.
Who's Lil C?
Are you winding me up?
What? I'm civilized. I read books.
Eu tô achando que uma hora vai aparecer alguém nessa janela pra me prender, mano. Eu tô mostrando coisa que eu não posso. Tô mostrando coisa demais. Fiz um a mais nessa aqui, hein? Mas eu tô mostrando coisa demais. Não vou aplaudir ninguém, vou fazer esses botões aqui. Eu tô sempre passando a propaganda Crazy Neil, porque isso tá me mantendo conseguindo pagar as contas, chat. Eu estaria fodida se não fosse o Crazy Neil, hein? Obrigada, Neil!
I've never heard of her before.
Oh, she's big, really big.
Really? She any good?
Nah, of course not. She dog shit.
O cara tá... Mano, tô vendo uma calça, que porra é essa?
Yeah, I've got about 6 or 7, I think.
What?
5, 4, 3.
Thanks for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C!
Foda-se, eu bati palma pra ela. Vai que, né, eu não sei quem ela é.
May I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
What's the regime?
My manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water and then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Oh, well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together, it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3
minutes
in my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
So, this newfound explosion into your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Mulher louca.
Manager again.
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh, do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Meu Deus.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Yeah, it's from my album Put It In My A Together and it's out tomorrow.
So soon, after the last one?
Oh yeah, I've actually released 2 albums since lunchtime and a clothing line during this interview.
Foda-se a música
This is
dela.
called Cry for Help and it's going to be in all the best high street and retailer shops and it's out now. So girlies, you know what to do. Scream and cry until somebody gets it for you.
Ooh, there she goes. Blimey. All these projects, they're keeping you very busy, aren't they? It must be tough.
Yeah, it can get tough and I hate it sometimes and I hate myself. I just want to like cry into a bath of root veg. But then I think
Chat, foda-se, eu já sei que eu vou ser demitida. Eu vou ser demitida, eu tô fodida. Eu já sei já.
Yeah, I do think that sometimes. Most nights between like my 4th vodka and the 8th time a stranger slaps me around the arse. I think things could have been different, you know, like better. But I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
You always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit in front of the radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I press record on my cassette. Then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practicing again.
Sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler proud, and you might just survive childbirth."
Well, you know what, despite anything, you'll make me proud.
Oh, if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you? Tell me about it,
So it's called These Babies Gonna Bring You Home, and I actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what, it's actually all right. And don't worry, All my work is team approved.
All right then. Well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here is Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track, These Babies Gonna Bring You Home. Take it away.
Is this deliberate, Alex? We do like our guests to come back, you know.
The queen of teams. Here
Eu botei vaia.
Lil C.
Oh baby, can't you see I'm hungry? There's a place in me that's empty.
Tem DMCA? Putz, não acredito que fizeram essa com nós.
I'm under siege, so come and free me. Ain't no disruption here, boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me, nobody foreign member. Don't stop your morning drill, there's holes in me that ain't been filled yet. I only scream this loud.
Era só a assistência me ligar agora, hein? Ou eu posso abaixar o volume, foda-se.
Tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So let them break our dream. We fight and love and diet. So what a Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy. I wanna see some action. So come and break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since Mama burdened me. She was only 53, but gave to save her family. There's no one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So what a Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and done from there. I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions.
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to thank Lil C for doing that. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're going to love. We'll be back right after this.
And we're out.
Mano, a Megan não tá feliz.
Can I just say, thank you so much for letting me do this. It really means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to promote myself on such a mainstream platform like the news.
Well, don't worry about it. And you know what? Good luck for the future. Take care of yourself. This industry can be crazy sometimes. Watch out for that father of yours.
Oh, no. I manage myself. It's just, you know, for the public to have that certain... You know what it's like.
Oh, right.
And Michael? Michael?
What about Billy Bob Jean Short? Is he?
Oh, my dad. He's such a sweetheart. We both had the same agents, you know, like it just made sense. Both of us were our image together.
Wow.
And Michael, I want to see the revenue share for the clothing line and get me a G&T before my meeting with the lube guys. If they say for your pleasure, I'm going to start needing it.
I hope you've got your head around thanks, Alex, because you'll need all 4 buttons for the next section. Each time they light up, listen to the actors
Well,
and
the
try and pick
fact
the
is,
most appropriate
Jen,
effect.
there weren't enough flowers in my dressing room.
So let's not upset them when they watch it back later.
Do I look like the sort of person who counts things? No, 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 not anymore. I'm better than that now.
Esse cara tá gritando, filha da puta.
Just keep adding flowers until it feels like 12. Got it?
Absolutely right.
Foda-se, eu vou vaiar esse cara.
5, 4, 3.
I know, you
Thanks
see.
for joining us for part 3. We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now the wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show, we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The Notice Board. It stars some top talent, and we're very excited about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director, and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Actually, I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff DePlume now. How'd you like that?
Well, yeah, very fancy. I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly. I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh.
It's shit.
And how does Angela feel about all this? Your wife?
Nossa, eu esqueci na tela dele, eu perdi a audiência.
Oh, God, no. No, she's long gone. No, she was holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call offering me 25 grand to write a pro-team sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy. You make hay while the sun shines. You wring every penny you can get out of this. So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking. Utter shite.
And without further ado, let's give it up for the notice board.
Surely you're not this stupid, Alex.
Foi mal, tô tendo que controlar muitas coisas ao mesmo tempo.
Good morning, Miss Craven.
Oh, morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Oh, Ray, it's those young louts. They've vandalized my shop again.
No!
Yes! They've written all sorts of obscene language and crude pictures, and I know it's those damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society like this key into this lock. See? Works like a charm. Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And just like that, we can unlock their future.
Yes, yes.
Sei lá o que eu tô fazendo, eu só tô fazendo.
Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
What? This one? Oh, so you're right. Here it is.
Oh, it's a letter from my granddaughter, Brenda. She says she got an A on her maths exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
What's up, losers? What's up, losers?
Quem é ele?
Oh, no! It's Brad! He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right. I just got here on my motorbike.
Oh, clear off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No, ruffians. Have you come to tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way. I've actually come to pin my resume on that notice board. I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What? Did you say tutoring?
Sei lá o que eu tô fazendo. Eu não sei o que eu tô fazendo.
That is very important. Would you mind, Ray?
Not at all.
So you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for months.
Well, blow me down!
You know what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No doy.
So it wasn't you who vandalised my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray. Oh, what the heck? Give us a hug.
Gente, eu acho que eu vou ser demitida. Eu acho que jogaram uma bomba aqui também.
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of the notice board, but we are receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we're picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be... Oh God, what appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions.
Huh?
I'm being told we're experiencing power fluctuations as a result, so apologies for any interruption to this broadcast for you at home. And apparently we can head over to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julia Salisbury any moment now. Yep, yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent. We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres and will not hesitate to detonate them if our conditions are not met in full and without delay.
Agora eu tô escolhendo o meu lado.
The people of our territory will no longer tolerate your illegal and genocidal blockade.
We've lost contact with our benefactors in Urkistan and Konoslava. All our equipment seems to be resetting.
Your territories will be taken under our control.
Can we get this confirmed? Can we get this verified? I need this verified.
Your borders are now our borders.
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you are receiving this, but if you are, then you have to know. You have to know what's being done right now to our neighbours. This is unprecedented. Our government has committed an act, multiple acts of mass destruction in our name.
If you fire a single shot at our territory,
Nor do I care how you voted. You didn't vote for this. None of us did. This can't be. We are waiting further news and, oh, God.
our technology is death.
What if they respond?
We will expect your complete acceptance of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Nossa.
I'm trying to think of what Jeremy would say if he were here now.
Ah.
He was always sceptical of advance. Then I suppose he was always sceptical about everything. That's part of what made him so frustrating to work with. And so brilliant. I'm not going to lie, Jeremy, I really wish you were here now. You'd know what to say. You'd know how to bring everyone together. And I don't think you'd be angry. I think you'd see that anger was the engine that brought us here. I think you'd want us to stop, to look around us at the people and things we're so very lucky to have, and to realise
Tadinha, mano.
What a privilege it is just to be alive. I think you'd want us to spare a thought for those with loved ones who are abroad tonight. And I think you'd be worried about retaliation, but you wouldn't show it. You'd remind us that this country and its people endure. You'd remind us that despite the way you hated how it sounds, we are a team. And I think you'd ask us to go to our loved ones and be with them tonight. But I don't have the words that you had, Jeremy. None of us do.
Tadinha.
My name's Megan Wolfe. Let's make tomorrow better.
And we're out.
So...
Nossa, era só ter passado a propaganda do Neil maluco de novo, hein?
He'd have loved it.
Yeah, you would have done, you old bastard.
Eita. Continua. Então, chat, quando eu fui na página da Steam do jogo, o jogo tá em Early Access, ele tá ainda em desenvolvimento. E eu acho que o que a gente tem até aqui é a parte do jogo que foi feita até agora. Foda! Ele tá em acesso antecipado, chat. Então, eu acho que é isso que temos até então. Eu gostei muito! Eu quero, por favor, uma salva de palmas aqui pra esse jogo, porque eu gostei muito. Porra! Gostei muito. Depois eu vejo bonitinho aqui, está? Aí provavelmente usarei durante a semana. Eu não sei o que é, mas... Nossa, que sono. Ah, ok. Show da bola. Show da bola, show da bola. Mano, eu espero que vocês tenham gostado tanto quanto eu. Eita. Que é isso?
This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex. And we need your help.
proud to be here today on this, the 500-day anniversary.
It's time to choose. Alex, whose side are you on?
After all, doesn't your family deserve a good, nutritious meal in these difficult times?
But
Por que tinha um Winston morto lá, hein?
One final thought.
Hi, I'm Alex.
I'm Andy. And I'm Den. Jay, we said Zoom backgrounds.
Oh, sorry, boys. We're the developers of Not for Broadcast, and we want to thank you so much for supporting our little game so far.
We're now 2/3 of the way through the story.
But as we film this in January 2021, the UK is back in lockdown.
We don't know when we'll next be able to film with a full cast and crew.
So once again, we have to ask you to please be patient with us.
And if you want to talk to us in the meantime,
come chat with us on Discord at discord.gg/notforbroadcast.
We stream on Twitch every first and third Thursday of the month at twitch.tv/NotGamesUK. We always check the Steam forums for any suggestions or problems you may have.
And we read every Steam review, even the horrible ones, because you
So all that remains to say is thank you so much for playing our weird little game.
And
see you in episode 3. Probably, if I have come up with a kill by then, I will let you know. Last time it didn't go so well for me.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Jones.
Gostaria de ver o seu relatório de conclusão da fase? Quero. Fiz um A mais, um B e um A mais. Tive uma nota A. Eu recebi um bônus pequeno. De pobre miserável, eu fui para confortável.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Jones. Our main headlines tonight.
Nossa, torcendo muito pra que eles consigam terminar o jogo, porque achei do caralho. Eu quero saber o que vocês acharam da live de hoje, do jogo de hoje, da escolha do dia de hoje. Mano, eu achei foda. Achei maneiro.